And we're back on Smells Like 90s Rock. Hot Toddy here with you, still riding solo at the moment. And while we wait for DJ P.O.R, I thought we'd do something that way we've not done in a very long time, not since January. Usually I do this when I'm alone, and since I'm alone this year, and this has been the first time I've been by myself on this show since January. I think that speaks volumes of our crew here this year. They've done an amazing job hanging around every single week, so my hat's off to them for coming in. But yeah, so this is the last time I did this segment was back in January, and we covered the year of 1992. I'm talking, of course, about headlines from the 90s, and what we do here is we tell you some of the biggest headlines from certain years of the 90s. Now, thus far, since we started this, which was last year, we've done 90, 91, and 92, the major headlines from those years. Well, we're going to carry on tonight now and do 1993. So here now is headlines from the 90s, the major headlines from the year 1993. And now let's go back in time and check out some of the headlines from our beloved decade, the 90s, with headlines from the 90s on Smells Like 90s Rock. We begin with some tragic news. The ATF raids the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas, and a siege results. The siege will last for several weeks until a fire breaks out, with reports saying that the Davidians themselves started it, while other reports say the federal agents started it. Regardless, it killed most of the cult members, including leader David Koresh and several children. The North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, is ratified, eliminating trade tariffs between Mexico, the U.S., and Canada. The biggest fears at the time were that jobs would go south to Mexico and the environment would suffer. Czechoslovakia splits, creating the Czech Republic and the Slovak Republic. Explosion at the World Trade Center in New York. On February 26th, Muslim fundamentalists tried to destroy the World Trade Center, killing 5 people and trapping tens of thousands of office workers in the tower. In March, 4 men connected with Egyptian Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman were convicted and sentenced to 240 years. Abortion doctor killed by fanatic. An anti-abortion protester shot Dr. David Gunn in Pensacola, Florida, outside his abortion clinic in March. 17 months later, his successor would also be shot. Michael Jordan retires. After the death of his father and allegations of gambling, Michael Jordan retires to play minor league baseball. 17 months later, he returns to basketball. The Lorena Bobbitt trial. Lorena Bobbitt, who claimed to be a battered wife at the time, was given a suspended sentence for amputating her husband's penis. Lorena, who was on trial for felonious assault, claimed to have no memory of the event in question. About 6 months after the trial, they divorced. And the New Kids on the Block call it quits. In the summer of 1993, after much speculation, the Boston quintet New Kids on the Block finally called it quits after 7 years together and 6 albums. The boys decided that they were too burned out to continue with touring and pursued interests in other lines of work, which included solo singing careers, acting, real estate, and music producing. And that's going to do it for the first half of the major headlines from 1993. Stay tuned for part 2 of Headlines from the 90s. And now back to the music on Smells Like 90s Rock.